morning, guys. That was Your Love by Verses. Good morning indeed. What can I say? It is the start of a fantastic day. I'm hoping and praying you experience that fully. Well, take a look outside. I'm hoping and praying you can see what I have been seeing. Well, pretty much all this week, actually. It's been really a magnificent way to start the day each day, with the clouds just surfacing just as the sun is rising. It's just giving that beautiful pink, orange, purple sort of skies that are just majestic. I'm hoping you have seen it this morning. I'm hoping you have seen it throughout this week, because my goodness, our God is good and He is an awesome creator. Take it in, guys, if you can. Obviously, I don't know where you live. I'm not sure exactly what the weather's looking like for you at this particular moment, but I have been in absolute awe this week, just taking in the magnificence of just His creation. It is amazing. It seriously is breathtaking. If you can today, I would urge you, spend some time getting to know Him some more. He is a good God. He's a God who loves you, and He is a God who is just mind-blowingly, awesome in the way that He creates. I have, as I said, this particular week, I have noticed the sunrise a little bit more than I probably do other times. It's just been this absolute sense of awe where you just kind of go, yeah, we're moving into the colder months. But there is still some magnificence to it. It's just amazing. I urge you, get out amongst it. If you are not able to see the sunrise, like I often do of a morning, I do hope and pray you can see God in some sort of natural movement this morning, that you can see Him in perhaps the waters that surround you. Maybe you are close to the beach. Maybe you're close to one of the lakes. Who knows? You guys, we're pretty blessed in this nation, actually, to have so many natural resources available to us, and just the awe of just understanding who God is by looking at how He has created Earth. Certainly we look at the way that we are designed. Same thing. Our bodies are amazing. What a reason to get up and celebrate who God is. And guys, that is what we are going to be doing a little bit more as the day goes, really. But specifically this morning, we'll be unpacking and sort of looking at the creation and the Creator and how majestic He is in all different parts of the globe. We have been covering over the last about 6-ish weeks, I think, different nations and different things going on for different nations. Today we're going to take a trip, if you like. So pack your bags, let's get ready to go to Ireland. Now, I denied how to do this one this week, because with the children that I was working with just recently, for the background, for those who don't normally follow on a Sunday, I have been covering different weeks with different countries, different nations, different things going on across the globe. And the main reason for that has been to kind of combine a few different worlds of mine and sort of make it easier on myself, which sounds really selfish, but it makes sense. We have been in a community group that I've been organising, just covering different countries, different things that make it unique to the rest of the world. And it's amazing how much God has given us purely by, just looking at the different, land formations and land sort of combinations, if you like. In Australia, it is breathtaking. It is breathtaking to see what we are given, but it is breathtaking to look across the globe as well. And so we are, as I said, today we are covering Ireland, but there was another aspect that I took with the kids that I was working with last week, because I kind of wanted to make it a little bit fun for them. So we talked about Ireland versus an island, going on a trip to an island. The interesting part is, and maybe I'm late to the party on this one, but I did not actually realise that Ireland is actually technically an island. So that was a bit of maybe I'm a bit dumb, but that's all right. I just was like, wow, cool. That is interesting for me. And I hope we're going to present some things to you this morning that are interesting to you, because it is good to look at how, what makes things different. It's pretty cool. Let me start with some things this morning that give you a bit of a kick off to where we are going from here. Ireland, the nickname for Ireland is Emerald Isle. The reason for this, let me get into that. There's obviously plenty of green valleys It is described as having lots of rolling hills, magnificent landscapes. I am at the moment getting my fun facts, if you like, from a website called AuthenticEurope.com, and they highlight the rainy and humid weather. They also say that there is plenty of green flora and fauna. It very similar to what we are exposed to. They have very wet summers and cold and wet winters. We don't necessarily have the wet winters, but we do have cold winters. Probably not like they have cold winters, but, the seasonal things, some countries don't actually have much of that. In Ireland, there are 30,000 castles. Crazy. Another sort of random fact for you, one of the oldest lighthouses in the world is located in Wexford. It dates back to 1172. And it's actually still in use, which is amazing. I think it'd be pretty cool to see something like that. What else have we got here? The shamrock. Now, we did cover this at our kids' club last week. It is it's known as the national symbol, but apparently it's actually not. I have also heard that the shamrock itself is meant to be like a symbolism. I don't know if this is just sort of, what's one of those sort of theoretical things that people throw around the internet, but I have heard that it can be the, Father, Son and Holy Spirit is kind of a bit of a symbolism that goes with that. Who knows? But these are the things that we find out about other nations that make us go, okay, rightio. Let me see. The oldest pub in Ireland is found in Athlone, County Westmeath. This one dates back to 900 AD. Crazy stuff. And finally, let me find something else that's a little bit like, oh, wow, did not know that. The earliest evidence of humans in Ireland was more than 30,000 years BC. So specifically, we've got here, I'll read word for word, a reindeer bone that was found in Cork in the south of Ireland shows that humans inhabited Ireland 33,000 years ago. The hind leg reindeer femur was found in the Castlepook Cave near Doneraile, I'm not sure, in the northern part of Cork. The bone was chop marks consistent with butchering with a flint or stone tool. The radiocarbon dating of the femur showed it to be around 33,000 years old. Sorry, did I say humans? Yeah, I did, but I'm confused in here. Let me just get my head around that again because I am even trying to make sense of that. Okay, so reindeer bone was found in Cork, shows that humans inhabited Ireland 33,000 years ago. Okay, now I'm starting to get my head around that. I'm not sure about you guys, but it's making sense a bit more to me now. Anyway, you guys can check that stuff out yourself, AuthenticEurope.com. Little random fun facts. I'm going to bring you some more as we go this morning. See you soon. And welcome back, guys. That was Redemption Song by Apollo Ltd. Welcome. You are joining us here this beautiful Sunday morning. I am Lindy, and it is the start of a new week, so I hope and pray you are experiencing some goodness in that. I do mean it when I say that you guys are such an awesome part of what happens here at Rhema Central Coast. Thank you for your support. Especially as we're getting closer to the end of this financial year. Thank you for getting behind what happens here at the station. It's honestly such a blessing to us, but more importantly, blessing to the community. What you guys give certainly helps us to give back. And my goodness, the truth and the news that we can put things out there that of hope, of joy, of peace in a world that is, sometimes quite chaotic. Thank you, because that is the purpose of us being here, is to share Jesus' love with the community around us, and we cannot do it without you. Having said that, I also want to say, if you are still yet to, think about how you might want to contribute as we are getting closer. It's the 21st of June today, guys, so we've only got about 9 more days until this financial year kind of comes to a close. Any support you can give is obviously a big deal. So thank you. For thinking of it and trying to work out how you might be able to support what God is trying to do in this region. It is not about us. It is about, ensuring that other people have the opportunity to hear God's love, God's hope, God's forgiveness. And Yeah, I think there's some stuff in that, well and truly. But anyway, guys, I have just derailed just for a minute because I just really felt like that was just important to throw out there. You are important. You're important to what happens here on the coast. You are important to what happens here at Rhema Central Coast, and we value you. You are really important to the process, not just from our perspective, but obviously from God's perspective too. So thank you. And also, if you are sitting on it and thinking, I should be doing that, I need to help with that, or, you're just feeling a bit of a stirring, I would encourage you, just jump on it and just trust God will cover the rest. I have had that many times myself. I'm like, God, not now, don't stir me in this direction. He always comes through, and I can speak that, in absolute truth that, I know finances can be hard, but it's one of those things that we sometimes just have to trust God. If you've had that nudging, follow through, don't question. Anyway, guys, we're talking Ireland this morning. I am talking Ireland because, well, why not, hey? My daughter actually did she didn't go to Ireland, she went to Northern Ireland in 2022, I think, 2023 maybe, I don't even know, 2023. Stayed there for 6 months, did her studies over there. And, it's just the experience of just seeing how things have actually impacted us here as well in terms of who we've become as a nation. I think there's so much that we can learn by learning about other nations. But it's, just who we are. I know for myself, I'm pretty sure that there's a bit of family history with Ireland and Scotland. And so you kind of look back and go, okay, what's happening over there, and how has that, or how do they do things that impacts Australian society? Certainly we're not going to cover a whole lot of that this morning, but I just kind of threw that out there because it does make us think when we look at other nations and we see how we might have been impacted historically through the movements between one nation to another. Some more fun facts for you in terms of government. Ireland have a constitutional democracy. The capital of Ireland is Dublin. Population, now I can't see what date this is, so I'm not really 100% sure of when this was dated, but that was 5,068,050. I assume that's quite recent. I apologise for my voice, I'm very croaky this morning. In terms of land mass, we have 26,592 square miles. Now, in terms of kilometres for us, that is 68,890 square kilometres. So, and it's an island, as I mentioned previous this morning. When we think of going to an island, we tend to think of the holiday sort of scenarios. We've got our swimmers on, we're ready to go to the beach, ready to hang out. But then you think of Ireland and you think, is that the kind of thing that you think you're packing for if you're taking a trip to Ireland? I don't think it's necessarily the same. But it just shows you that God has created our islands, if you like, in their own unique form as well. He places things across the globe in exactly where he wants them to be. Now, he's giving us the different experiences just by looking at the different sort of islands, if you like. But if you look at Ireland as an island and you think when you travel across there, you'd be packing more for sort of, I don't know, outdoorsy sort of stuff is my sort of thing. It's kind of like my perception. You're more likely to kind of think I might need to rug up because of the cool winters. But if you think of going to an island somewhere like Fiji, Bali, I'm throwing things out there, but I mean islands sort of, vacation / holiday / just the summer vibes. It's not quite the same thing, is it? There is some majestic sort of understandings when you look at that, because you go, even God has equipped us with these sense of escape, if you like, based on where we choose to go or where we happen to live or where we are born. And he has placed us, and these are big, deep, philosophical sort of thoughts this morning, but it's just amazing when you just think God has equipped us with so much in terms of our natural resources wherever we're placed. And Ireland is certainly one of those that you just think, it does not go along with what we assume island life is going to look like. But I have heard, and my daughter has, verified when she travelled through a lot of these places that it's one of the most breathtaking places to be. To hear that they have over 33,000 castles. People have chosen a lifestyle there that is different to what we have here over the many, many, many generations, historical sort of eras. It's just amazing. Anyway, guys, we're going to call it time out on that for a bit. I will come back. We're going to talk some more prayer requests specifically for Ireland, not Ireland. Not I'm going on a holiday island, though they can use prayers too. But I will be back before too long. We'll kind of examine what's going on there from a religious perspective and even cultural. Are there things that we should be praying for them specifically in a cultural context? I'll be back soon. I'll see you soon. So did you hear that, guys? Wake up, sleeper. Yeah, come on, sleepyhead. Wake up, get out of bed. It is the start of a new day. Good morning and welcome to Rhema Central Coast. I am Lindy Jones. I am here hanging out with you guys this Sunday morning. As I am most Sunday mornings, I hope you're off to a pretty good start. It is a good start. It's every day is the opportunity to look at the day ahead with a good perspective, a hopeful perspective. A perspective that says there are all things good in store for me and my family and my friends and my neighbours. Hope goes a long way. And even if we're feeling a bit doubtful, even if those sort of feelings creep in and make us a little bit uncertain for what the day might hold, the truth is we can hold on to the reality and the truth that God has promised that He is working all things good for His purpose, for those who love Him. So if you love Him, you've got nothing to worry about, not at all. He knows what He is going to do with even the messy stuff. I want to assure you guys, because I know reality is life can get messy. It can be ups and downs. It can be inconsistencies. It can be all over the place. It can be just completely times. But God knows, even in those situations, how He plans on using that. Generations down, years upon years, He knows what He wants to do. He knows how He wants to stir through those moments. So, if you are waking up this morning thinking, I'm not into this, Lindy, I'm not interested at all, here is my challenge to you. Get up and embrace the day. Enjoy it. Ignore those floating thoughts that are going through your head. Look around you. What can you be thankful for? I can guarantee you can find 10 things if you really think about it. And it might be the most minute thing. You might have, nothing in your cupboards. There might be nothing in the fridge. But there might be a, drink that's sitting there that's, milk you can make into a Milo. Perhaps you've got some leftover Milo in the cupboard. You might have, a piece of cheese that you can throw on a piece of bread and just, it's food. We can get back to the basics with the things that we can be grateful for. Perhaps you're thankful for the neighbour who has just checked up on you or has noticed you. Perhaps you're thankful for the workmate that just said to you, hey, you're doing a great job this week. There's different things that can just send us into a different direction in our thinking, and I challenge you to do that if you're not in a great place today. But if you are in that fantastic headspace and you're ready, you're like, yes, bring it on, let's do this. It is Sunday, it is the start of a new week. Awesome. That is amazing to hear. I love to hear that too. I encourage you now, if you're one of those people, to pass that on to those people in your world. Share something great about them. Tell them that they're pretty fantastic. Find something that makes them specifically who they are and encourage them on it, because we all need those little, those words of affirmation from time to time, just to say, hey, you're doing a great job, or hey, I think you're pretty fantastic. Anyway, guys, I have derailed big time because we're talking Ireland today. I have covered a few things in terms of just interesting sort of, interest facts. You might think, what does this place look like? What's it about? For those who have not had the fortunate experience to travel there, that would be me. That sort of thing we've already covered this morning, but we are going to dig a bit deeper into the prayers for the Irish people. Now, I have, I would say a large part of my background, whether working with younger people or working with adults, has been in some proximity to teach, to take what is being taught and to refine it and to break it down, to simplify, to communicate and make sure the information is being received, well, so that the person can understand. I would say that's a large component of what I have done. Certainly a lot of my background has been in the awareness of us being, different. We all have our own different learning styles. I'm not somebody who can sit and read and read and read. To me, I look at it and go, this is so boring. Just tell me what's going on or show me how to do it. That's me. Which, when you're working in environments that a lot of that stuff is read. It's not easy to do when you're not someone who wants to sit. I can't do it. I'm just like, come on. But so I guess from that perspective, I do understand for us as individuals, we are very much individual people in how we learn. Our learning styles are very different. And so what my main role in most of my roles, really, whether it's life skills or whether it's particularly, it could be in the classroom where I'm breaking things down in terms of the concepts that students are exploring, is to really zone in and make sure that communication, so that link between what is being taught and what is being received, it's really gone hand in hand. I would say that's probably something that maybe that is just a God thing, where he's just gone, okay, just be the in-between, Lindy, and try and help people understand what's going on. Having said that, when I read historical facts like things like I am just trying to present to you guys this morning, I start to do exactly what I said. The eyes start to glaze over and I'm like, I don't know how to explain this. I don't know how to go with where to, how to explain this from a very simplified version of what I'm reading. We look at history in terms of Ireland, and I'm going to do my best in terms of trying to break it down for you guys. But as I said, it's not a natural thing with this sort of stuff. I struggle with taking this information and going, how then do I break that down to keep it easy for others to take it on board? What I will say is that these are some of the things that have pointed out to me been pointed out to me as important in relation to Christianity, faith, spirituality in Ireland. So mainly what I can see here is that missionaries have been in, I'll read word for word this so I don't even complicate things that way. It's got here the missionary work of St. Patrick during the 400s, so this is going way back, proved foundational for Christianity on an island dominated by paganism. So we're looking at Ireland as that sort of background. Ireland's long Christian history has been unable to prevent its current decline, as economic hardship, scandal and secularism are leaving their own marks in Irish history. We have a rich heritage in Ireland that is related to Celtic tribes, and that specifically, if I'm breaking it down as best as I can, was seen between 600 and 150 BC. There was a shift in, what have we got here? The English subsequently ruled Ireland until 1921. We saw a shift again. It says, though independent, Ireland remained part of the British Commonwealth until 1949. There was different political shifts. We've got things like a failing economy, and that was, what have we got here? A failing economy during the later portion of the 2000s has only exacerbated these issues in regards to unrest and tensions that have surfaced throughout that time. It does say here, the rise of social issues such as suicide and alcoholism have plagued the young people of Ireland. Workers are desperately needed to reach this despondent generation. So that's in relation to missionaries. I'm just looking up a thing called Prayercast, and it says a ministry of one way. Scandals and secular, as I said. What have we got? Church attendance that was once 85% nationally has dropped to 50 or below 50%. And it says an increasing number of Irish are non-religious. So there's certainly need for prayer for revival. It says amidst spiritual hardship, revival is evident amongst charismatic believers who readily embrace the rapidly growing immigrant population. Irish believers are in need of spiritual revival in a nation where most make a profession of faith, but few live radical lives for Christ. So it sounds like it's it was once a place on the globe that was very much focused on church connection, attendance, and obviously that shift has taken place. It sounds very similar to what we might be used to in a lot of ways in our context, our understanding of how to do life. But we can certainly be praying for those who are Irish or of Irish background, those who live in Ireland, ministers, missionaries who happen to be working in Ireland. These are all prayers that we can certainly put out. I know I don't know about you guys, but I have this, it's kind of like my own Facebook Messenger thing that I send to myself. I couldn't tell you how many ridiculous things I've sent to myself over the years. I never look at it, but I still send myself stuff. One of the things I found the other day was in regards to some stuff that has happened in Ireland just in recent weeks. It really threw me because I just thought, whoa, this is confronting sort of stuff. It just said, let me see what date it was. It was the 11th of June, so it's not that long ago at all, about 10 days. Yep. It just said, in Ireland, armed citizen groups are forming to target those seen as enablers of the so-called Islamic invasion. I'm trying to find where I had the actual thing, but that's what I grabbed it because I thought, okay, this is something that is a very it's a very real prayer focus that we can have when we think about Ireland, things that are being built up, organisations that are building up to go against what is good, and we need to be praying for that. I think if anything over the last few weeks, the one thing that has stuck with me is this need for constant prayer for an overcome of evil. The darkness, the fear, the threats, the torture that is in some places across the globe taking place. It's not okay. We can't all be in the places that we need to be to stop these things, but we know a God who can be. And I challenge you this morning, pray for those situations. Obviously, this is just one little news article that I've picked out and I kept for myself. But I wanted to pass that on this morning because, it's even things where, you're having to think about, I'm out of words, actually. I'm kind of like, where do I go with this? It's one of those things that some things in the world at the moment just don't make any sense. It feels like the world's upside down. It's like, I can't make any sense why anyone would think that that's okay. But I'm sure there's generation upon generation upon generation who have come to that same conclusion, and yet God still reigns. God is still in control, and we have that promise. I urge you guys this week, keep Ireland on your radar. We haven't come to a close yet. We're closing. I'll be finishing up here about 10. But just as the morning's progressing, I urge you guys, put Ireland on your radar and pray for those who are impacted by society changing like it has. They need your prayers, and prayers go a long way. So I encourage you, if you can, keep with it, and just keep them in your thoughts and your prayers and your constant petitioning to God to continue doing what he does, which is bringing good to the globe. All right, guys, I'll call time out for a sec. I'll see you back here in a little bit. Enjoy the moment. I'll see you soon. And welcome back, hosties. Yeah, it is Sunday morning again. If you are just waking up, rolling out of bed, perhaps you are just getting yourself together. Perhaps you're climbing in the car, or you've just climbed into the car and you're on your way to church. I hope you feel God today as you do kind of Christian life. I know that should be an everyday thing, so that's a general statement, but you know what I'm saying. If you happen to be doing Sunday as in the traditional sort of Christian, churchy sort of stuff, I hope and pray you are in for a fantastic day, that you do truly experience God, that you don't get overwhelmed by the hustle and bustle for those of you who are in ministry life, that you can take a moment to breathe and actually just remember why you're there, why you're doing the things you're doing. In fact, that is a good reminder for all of us, all the time. Why are we doing the things we are doing? What is the purpose behind it? Do we actually need to be doing it, or are we doing it because we are worried about the validation of other people? It is between you and God. It is between me and God. The rest of it does not matter. And I just want to throw that out there because we can get our priorities so wrong sometimes. And you know what? Take a breath. Take a moment just to breathe. Experience God's love for you. He is in the calm. And he's in the chaos too, but he's in the calm. And guys, I hope and pray you can experience that. We've been talking about Ireland today. Ireland as in I'm pretty sure it's orange, green and white flag. Let me just double check that while I'm talking to you. I'll check that in a moment, actually. I know that can, from a pronunciation perspective, it can sound like Ireland for us Aussies, but I'm talking about Ireland, Ireland. And we have been talking about different things related to how the Irish live, how they've lived historically. There is an element of historical facts that I haven't gone into today because it's a bit of a tricky one. And there are some components there that in terms of, I just don't know what the lines are in terms of what I can and can't talk about on radio, but there is certainly aspects of how we do life here that have been, influenced by the Irish culture, Irish traditions, and even down to how they have done religion previously. You can research that more. It's nothing too controversial, but I just wasn't sure what I can and can't say, from this platform. It's kind of like, okay. It's all to do with, sort of the Celtic sort of culture historically and where that fits in line with the Christian ethos and all that sort of thing. So anyway, you guys can have a look into that if you are interested. What I will say though is that looking at social issues related to Irish culture that are current today, I think it is probably important for us to highlight those so that, and this is hand in hand with what we were talking about previously, we can be praying for Ireland and for what takes place there or what is going to take place, all that sort of stuff. Now, the main issues that if you do a Google search will pop up in regards to Ireland and the things that are currently issues for them, for the Irish people, are in relation to housing and homelessness, immigration, integration and social cohesion. We covered a little bit of that before. That is also specifically related, it says here, in response there is an ongoing push for updated hate crime legislation and community-led integration initiatives because there are quite a few tensions rising because of that. We have cost of living and economic inequality as highlighted as being of concern. We have healthcare and reproductive rights. We see this in a few different parts across the globe as we've done a bit of research into that, and certainly that is another measure, an area or a measure of where a society is in terms of how they kind of see these things. Changing social values. Now, they specifically relate this, and this is kind of going back to what we were talking about before, to the decline in those who are involved with the Catholic Church, because at one time it was highly, highly important for, families to be connected with the church, individuals to be connected with the church, communities to be involved with the church, and that has slipped back big time. We also see that can be influenced. Social policies are playing a big role in that, in terms of there being a leaning towards a progressive sort of state or focus. Climate and environment. The government's climate targets are a major point of societal and political debate. Now, that's specifically word for word from a Google search I just did. They are trying to transition to a green economy, but also being very mindful of rural communities, the agricultural sector of, and the economic impacts that will take on these different parts of their society. Very similar sort of scenarios I see when you look into how people are doing how people do people life. We can see just how human every one of us are, regardless of culture. I think that is one of the biggest things that I want to highlight is people are people. And we have so many common sort of interests or beliefs, values, that it's a weird place to be. It's just a weird time to be living. But we forget how normal we are in the scheme of things, but also how different we are. It's a big one to get your head around, I think. Anyway, that gives us a little bit of an idea of the things that we can be praying for Ireland. I'm going to leave it there, but that's just to give you guys some ideas, more specific things to be praying for in regards to specific areas of interest, areas of concern. And I hope and pray you guys can jump on board and help those who are of Irish heritage, those who live in Ireland right now, through the simple, very, very simple means of prayer, because it does go a long way. I'm back soon, guys, and we will kind of round things up and head off for the week. I'll see you back here soon. And welcome back again. It is a delight, guys, to spend my Sunday mornings with you here at Rhema Central Coast. If you're not familiar with us, welcome. We love having newbies around. We love having those of you who are more familiar to us as well. But as I said, everyone is welcome to jump on board, hear a little bit more about what we do here at Rhema. We are a Christian radio station. We happen to be those Jesus freaks, and we're totally okay with that. We love those, we love the way that he has done life with us. We love the fact that he is the Saviour of the world. Make no apologies for our beliefs. And we are a people who stand firm in the hope and the joy and the peace and the kindness and the goodness and all things that you can think of that are actually going to be a good thing. You know, we stand on that truth that we hope and pray that for this community, for the Central Coast region. You know, we can't, it's a gift for us to, it's the greatest gift that we can give you, is to hope and pray that you experience that. And that is what we're about. And so that is what we are here for each and every day. Now, I'm only here for a few hours on a Sunday morning, but if I can spend some time with you guys, I love doing so. And we certainly have some amazing people through the week. In fact, I think the team here are pretty amazing just all round. They're just a great team to work with and for. And yeah, it's so encouraging when you see God just pulling together people from all over the place and saying, cool, you guys are a team. Doesn't matter what church you go to, doesn't matter what religious organizations you're associated with. You're my kids, and I want to see you work together. And I know as a mum of many children, when I see my kids work together, there is nothing more breathtakingly beautiful. It is just sensational when you can see your kids doing what they're designed to do and doing it together. And if that's not a nudge for each of us to go, all right, how do we jump on board and do things exactly as God wants us to? I don't know what is, because there is such beauty in us being able to give back to him by doing, simple things like what we are doing here. And certainly I know that Rhema is not, we're only a tiny portion of what happens even just in this community. Globally, again, that's just like, there's people out there doing some awesome stuff to share God's love. So I hope that they know, and that you know, if you are somebody who is out amongst it. In fact, even if you are someone who thinks that you just go and do such and such a job, you maybe work in admin, maybe you do reception work, it doesn't matter. Maybe you clean toilets. You don't realise the impact that you have to somebody else's life. I want to validate that, because all work is God's work when we're open to it. And that can be hard when we have an idea of where we want to go in life. And when the roads don't kind of cross over and they don't meet, we can feel a sense of, oh, come on, God, this is not what I thought I was designed for. But I'll guarantee you, he is still using you in whatever realm, whatever capacity you are involved. If you open yourself up to being used by him, he will jump on it, and he will gladly share you and the message that you have to share about him with those in your path. So please don't restrain yourself. Get amongst it. And yeah, just enjoy the community that you're in, whether that's, literally your neighborhood or your workplace or whatever. It doesn't matter. Be open to it. Guys, that's a little bit of a kind of closing sort of thought for today. Whatever you are doing, be open to it. In fact, there is scripture that says we have to have our heart in the right game. Whatever we do, we have to be thinking of how we can allow God to use that situation. I have gone completely blank in terms of actually giving that scripture to you, but I know it's there because I've quoted it many times here on a Sunday morning, but my brain's just gone. I think we've hit that time of the morning. But yes, and I know I have a feeling that I'm going to be reminded what those quotes are, but that's all right. There's scriptures, there's plenty of them actually. But yeah, we've got a call in our lives to actually do what we need to do for God, and I urge you, whether it is in the the day-to-day stuff, whether it's in a sense of how we run in our state, our nation, or across the globe, we have a responsibility to pray for those we care about, the ones that are brought to our attention, those who we want to see good for. Today we have spoken about Ireland. We've spoken about some of the things that we can be kind of covering in prayer. We've talked about the sort of societal changes that are obstacles for the Catholic Church, if you like, because that's more of what we see over there. But the church, to be known, to be heard, to hear God's values expressed openly, these are common themes that we see across the globe. But we have a part to play in how those things can be unravelled. The plans that are against what is good can be unravelled, and they can be unravelled big time. Don't underestimate. This is my hope and my prayer for you. Please don't underestimate what your prayers can do. God is a God who responds, maybe not in the immediate, but he does respond. He hears our calls, our cries. In fact, we are told if we humble ourselves, he'll hear from heaven. We go to him with prayer, with devotion, with care, with a yearning, and with a pleading almost. If we go to him, he hears us. He responds to us, and he does what is right. He does what is good. He responds. He's a loving, merciful God. And that is something I've been challenged with in the last few weeks, last really couple of months. I don't know why. But the aspect of mercy and how good God is in terms of his mercy. He will hear your prayers, guys. He hears our prayers. Be praying for those we care about here, but those who we care about across the globe. I hope and pray you guys have a great week. I'll see you back here next Sunday. We're going to start heading home, I think. We're going to come back to Australia before too long and focus on what we have here, the things we can be praying for here. Because, my goodness, we've got a lot going on in our own backyard. And, yeah, prayer goes a long way, guys. I'll see you next week. Don't forget to keep Ireland in your prayers. I will see you next Sunday. Bye.